My guest today is Tom Sosnoff. We're talking about reading charts, and it's important to a lot of traders, but maybe people are putting overemphasis on that. So, Tom, do you think people overemphasize the use of charts in trading?
I think people that don't really trade overemphasize the use of charts in trading. I don't think that traders overemphasize the use of charts because I don't think they use them.
And is that because at the core, the original traders, the floor traders, never had charts anyway and they were fine?
That's part of the reason, but the reality of charts is that they draw their directional bias from past performance. And if you look at all the models that drive prices, theoretical prices, they're all forward-looking based on current bid-ask. So past performance is not even an input into the models that drive theoretical pricing. Charting is, charting is old school. We call charting an engagement tool. So charting is something that people do if they want to get engaged in the marketplace, but it's not something that you do to make money, because if charting made you money, then people would have a lot more money than they currently have. They would outperform mediocrity.
Yeah, and why do you think traders are constantly chasing the best indicator or the latest
I don't think they are. I think they were. And I think that business is slowly dying. And again, one of the reasons this business has been slowing down and dying and contracting is because people were chasing the only form of investor education or the only form of engagement that they knew of, and the only thing that was actually sold. Now we're changing the world of content, and charting won't even, 5-10 years from now, you'll never hear about charting again.
That's not 5-10 years ago. That's not very long from here. So what are they going to be focusing on? The content.
They're going to be focusing on content. It's almost like, if you look at a poker game today, the things that people focused on 5 years ago in poker, before there was television and everything else, those things are gone now. Now the focus is 100% on probabilities. And it's the same thing. It's going to be the same thing with trading. This is not complex. This will be simple. So
how does the content then relate to probabilities, and how do you put those together?
Because what happens is the content drives a logic chain. You look at a chart and you try to determine something, you know it's 100% subjective. It's subjective. It's just your interpretation of past performance. There's nothing relevant pointing to some future event. When you look at something when you look at a price of something and then you make a decision based on a statistical chance of it touching a certain level, higher or lower, and then you make your bet around that, at least you have reasonable expectations.
And does that come from the content or from
It comes from a combination of the cool technology that's available today for free, and then the supporting content which shows you how to use it.
Okay. And talk a little bit about Tastytrade, because obviously you do content with there.
Sure.
What's your goal with that? What you trying to do that with that trader?
Just what we're doing right here is to change the industry, change financial media. At our very core, the goal of Tastytrade is to change financial media, because financial news is fear-driven. And fear-driven, there's no value in driving fear. And classic business news is worthless. It's somebody reading a teleprompter. Who cares? You can't act after the fact, and even if you knew the news ahead of time, you couldn't make money off it. So classic business news, it's over. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, and that's why their ratings are dropping down. Tastytrade is now the most watched financial media network in the world, and the reason is because we don't even talk about the markets. I mean, 90% of our show is about strategy and how to apply certain strategies.
So when somebody calls in and they say they want a stock picker, what do you think about ABM? What's your typical answer?
We couldn't care less. We couldn't care less. We'll say, okay, it looks like it's an extreme. Who cares? The funny thing is, the more we do Tastytrade, the fewer people call in and say, what do you think about this? They'll talk about, hey, what do you think about the strategy?
So it's all, going forward, everything will be strategy driven regardless of the market, do you think?
But it should be. Strategy can be part of the market. The market's going up and you sell into strength. Just as an example, you have to know the statistical chance of selling into strength. It's almost like pot odds in poker. Every good poker player knows the pot odds of staying in a certain hand. Every good trader knows the statistical chance of success selling into strength.
Tom, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
You're watching the MoneyShow.com video network.